Blue Apron, take back dinner.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Liars Club. I'm Felicia Michaels.
And I'm Jessica Wellington.
Okay.
It's a bit.
And what we do here at the Liars Club is we have two of our comedy pals come on. We ask them to tell two stories. One is the truth, one is a lie, and then we try to figure out which one is the lie. And we play along with people that are live streaming with us. People jump on, people jump off. People are playing along with us on Facebook. And now I would like to tell you that Mr. Michael Evans is our on-air producer. He will be writing down their stories. When the stories are done, he will recap it in his own special way. Hello, Michael.
Hello.
And then we will all take a vote. So our first guest is a semifinalist on season 14 of America's Got Talent. She uses her comedy to entertain, encourage, and empower. She's a killer on stage and off, and you should catch her on a new podcast called Relatable with Jackie Fabulous. Please give it up for the killer herself, Miss Jackie Fabulous.
Yay. When you say she's a killer on stage and off, I had questions, but it's okay.
Yeah. Just meaning that you are business savvy. You're not fucking around. You take care of business. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
All right. And we're so excited that you're here. Our second guest, you've seen her on 2 seasons of the Fox show Laughs. You can catch her awesome podcast, No Sir, I Don't Like It, and her live digital series she's been producing and hosting called Social D has been killing it and features some of today's hottest comics every Saturday night. Give it up for the second chick that was ever a door guy at the Comedy Store, Miss Carmen Morales.
Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome to the show, Carmen. By the way, you guys, your podcasts have been killing it. Relatable with Jackie Fabulous. You had guests on there in the past couple of weeks that were fucking insane, Jackie.
Yeah, it's time for me to start utilizing all these people that I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
They ain't doing shit, Jackie. They ain't doing shit.
All these years that try and get a celebrity, they're like, girl, you know I'm shooting a TV show. Now I'm like, you ain't doing shit.
Oh, yeah.
Come do everything I ask you to do.
Exactly. And the same goes with Carmen. I mean, last Saturday, I think you had Maria Bamford on your show and all sorts of stuff. So you've been really killing it on getting those awesome comedians on your show, and that's really hard to get. So congratulations to the both of you.
Thank you. And with that for the pandemic helping our careers.
There you go.
Man, COVID's the best thing that ever happened to me, guys. That's a joke, guys. Right. That's a lie. I can't.
Everyone gets all quiet. Okay, our guest host was recently featured on Seth Rogen's Hilarity for Charity event with Todd Glass and Hannibal Buress. He won the 2015 World Series of Comedy. I'm just going to get to the good stuff. Last year, he won Best of the Fest at Big Pine Comedy Festival. And then 3 weeks later, I got to watch him win the Portland Comedy Festival. Please give it up for Mr. Tamer Kattan, the international comedian star. Tamer Kattan.
Thanks, Felicia.
Internacional.
Yeah.
Ole.
Tamer is actually joining us from Barcelona. I'm in New York.
Yeah.
You guys are on LA. Jackie's in New York. So this is an international show today.
Ew.
Right on.
Yeah, I told Mike
It's good to see
Mazzalotti
your
earlier.
faces.
I said we have two of the hardest hitting female comics in the game worldwide on tonight, and he goes Tamer Kattan, and I said exactly.
All right, so this is what's going to happen now that we got the pleasantries out of the way. So what's going to happen, we're going to start with Carmen, right? And then you're going to tell a story, and then Jackie Fabulous is going to tell a story, and then Carmen's going to tell a story, and then Jackie Fabulous, and we'll take it from there. So Carmen, what I'm saying is you're on, baby.
Cool. I was doing a show in Pikesville, Kentucky, and it was one of those ones you don't really post about online. Yeah. And it was probably like a C-level room. It was the kind of room where you would hang a banner like that. That was their big branding option.
As opposed to the A-level room in Pikesville.
Exactly. I think they were only allowed. There's too much trucker dick in Pikesville, Kentucky, for them to be able to sustain.
Too much trucker dick.
That was actually the hotel I stayed at. The room smelled like skull and trucker dick. And now, personally, I had never smelled a trucker dick myself, but I just imagine that's what that was. And I was doing this show, and I was working with this black dude I'd never worked with before. He was like a large man. He was like 6'4", probably like 230. I didn't ask him, but he was just like a large dude. And we got booked to perform during the Hillbilly Festival.
Oh, Jesus.
Which is, yeah. They booked me, by the way, if you're just listening, Hispanic chick and a black dude to perform during the Hillbilly Festival in Pikesville, Kentucky. And to give you like a better idea, like the town of Pikesville is probably like a town of about 10,000 people. And then during this festival becomes a town of about like 55,000 people that me and a black dude shouldn't be performing for. You know what I mean? A lot of overalls and no shirts. A lot of people that know how to hog tie, you know? And I was there on stage. It wasn't going well, as you can imagine. And I was just doing this joke about cats. And I asked the audience, I go, does anybody here have cats? And it was like dead silence. And I was just like, all right, you got dogs, you got animals. Am I talking too fast? Am I too much of a Yankee for you guys? I'm just trying to relate, motherfucker. Like, and then out of the darkness, all I hear is, we got goats. And so I started busting this guy's balls. I'm like, all right, did you have to get all sling blade about it? Is that really necessary? Is this a pet goat, a marital aid? What's the story with the goat? And then he goes, maybe. And then I was like, all right, don't be funnier than me, dude. Did you really fuck the goat? He goes, I did. I fucked the goat one time. And then that's when I was like, oh no, I've riffed myself into the most atrocious corner ever.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And so then I was like,
He just admitted to fucking a kid.
Yeah.
Hey.
Because you know it was a baby goat. You know it was a baby goat.
Wow. Honored to be a part of this.
So I was still trying to create some kind of levity with this weird. What made it even weirder for me is that because I was horrified by hearing those words together, the audience was not. Like, they were just basically like, ha ha, Earl, you goat fucker! Like, they reacted like he just told a fun, whimsical tale about how he accidentally shaved off an eyebrow one time. And, like, it was nothing. And so then I was like, all right, would you protect yourself, sir? I don't know what the rules are, like a lambskin condom, perhaps? Please don't judge me. It was a very uncomfortable situation. And then he goes, did you protect yourself? And he goes, I did. I wore my boots. And I was like, what? Oh, God. What the fuck does that mean? And then I just started saying I just crawled back into my own head and just started saying my jokes to these people. I was just like, I had 22 minutes left. I just said every joke with a monotone. I just want to, I was doing my jokes to run to a check that was waiting, and it was a very abysmal check as well. Hopefully it didn't bounce. I don't remember if it did or not, but I think it cleared. And so then, I was telling that story in South Carolina the next week, and then a dude comes up to me after the show, because I told the story on stage because I was like so freaked out. I was like, can you fucking believe this happened? And an equally creepy dude comes up to me and he goes, hey, do you want to know why he wore boots? And I said, no, I want to know why you know why he wore boots, because that is not something that you just know. And then the guy just starts telling me, he's like, well, what you won't do is you won't grab his hindquarters. You take his hoof, you stick it down in your boot. Then he can't step on her toe, give you purple toe. No one likes purple toe. I'm like, nobody likes a goat fucker, weirdo. Yeah, stop talking to me. We're never going to be friends. So wow. I met 2 goat fuckers in my life, I think is the story.
Holy shit.
You know what I love about this story? First of all, Jackie Fabulous completely unmoved about you and the goat fucking story.
I know. She's just like, yeah, Kentucky, probably. Yeah.
That's true. That didn't alarm me at all.
I know, you're lying. and
like, it's like the audience where nobody batted an eye. Jackie's just like, yeah, well, whose goat was it? Was it his goat?
Not my goat, not my business.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Okay.
But number two, like now I'm a little suspect because the little gigglings that you had after every little kind of, I know, like after every little punch.
Wait, have you never had me on the podcast before? I'm just a giggler. I be giggling. I got joy in my heart, Felicia. It got nothing to do with the guy fucking the goat. That actually took a lot of that joy away, which is why I was immediately telling people what happened. I was like, what happened? Why would you make me not have fun anymore?
Okay. Yeah, Carmen's giggle makes me think she's half Latina and half Hanna-Barbera.
Dude, my buddy used to call me Muttley because I would laugh like the fucking dog from the Hanna-Barbera. Whatever. I forgot his name.
I haven't heard Hanna-Barbera's name in a long time.
I love saying it. Every time I get stoned, I say it. Hanna-Barbera.
It's a fun thing to say.
I'm impressed because I'm a Muslim Jew, and as soon as you said Hillbilly Fest, I said, Jesus, it takes a lot for a Muslim Jew.
Carmen, I've got a real thing that I'm having a hard time making sense of in the story, okay? So you said that this, so you're doing like a feature-length set. You said that this kind of went down, and then you just sort of roboted your way, hurried through that last 20 minutes. I can't imagine, but like you're like a wily chick, you know, and you want to get into it. I can't imagine you would just at 20, like with 20 minutes left, you already got to a goat fucker on this crowd work. I can't imagine you'd just shut it off and cruise from there. I just think you might have spent your time getting into it further.
I mean, where am I supposed to go from there? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't at a Patrice O'Neal level of a comedian. I was terrified that somebody, like, this was probably like a decade ago. I was terrified that somebody was willingly admitting in a public forum that they fucked a fucking farm animal. Like, I don't know, like, sure, it seems whimsical now, but at the time I was just like, oh my God, you fucked a fucking goat? Like, why would you tell anybody about that? You know? Because that was the whole thing, is I was just in my own head worried about this goat.
Well, I know the phase of being a comedian she's talking about, because it's more recently for me where crowd work wasn't something that, like, if you're not good at it for years, you're still in a phase where you're like tiptoeing through it and surviving crowd work. So like if she felt like she got away with one and it was still going well, she just like, I'm not talking to anyone else.
Well, it was one of those things where I was like, I wasn't going to win. Everybody was on the goat fucker side. Like, I had nobody in my corner, bro. They were on team goat fucker. Like, where do you go from there? There was no winning. Okay? Sometimes you got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fucking stop talking to the audience. God. And so I was just like,
fucking liar right here. Look at her.
Kid fucker. Oh,
and they're probably looking at us in LA good. Like there's a comedian from Kentucky going, I was once doing comedy in LA and this guy admitted to doing yoga with goats.
Well, I will say that everyone on Facebook loves this story. Kia's like, we love goats. Michael Vargas.
I do too, like, just not like that, man.
You like
just
them that way?
We love goats.
By the way, Will Melendez says that Spanish mustache is looking good on Tamer Kattan.
Will's my brother, dude. I love Will.
Okay.
How do I say hi to you, Tamer? Is it Assalamu alaikum shalom?
There you go. Assalamu shalom.
That's a lot.
All right, so let's move it along unless anyone has any more specific questions for Carmen. By the way, I don't, because Carmen is so aggressive on stage. It's like a fucking pure joy watching her. Yeah, now? But I don't buy you were like a petite little flower, and then right before you came to LA, you got fucking all angry. I buy you angry out of the gate.
It's not like that. It was just I couldn't win that situation. Like that was the thing, is like because me being assertive and talking all that shit is what got me into this fucking goat fucking conundrum to begin with. It got me there. Like
they didn't like your cat jokes up top. They were waiting for the part where you fuck it.
Yeah, dude. Like, where do I go from goat fucking? So dating's weird, right, guys? Like,
there's that giggle. Okay.
You know what this makes me think of is remember Batman when Christian Bale was Batman and he had this deep, raspy, like this crazy voice. He's like, "Ugh." And then I didn't get his voice. And then I saw the origin story and I'm like, oh wow, they killed his family. And I'm like, oh, Carmen's like a tough person on stage. And this goat fucker is her origin story.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
He's my bane.
All right. Well, by the way,
he was like, you speak of deviancy. I was born of it. He was my bane.
That's hilarious. By the way, Kia Cabrisa says that this is some other comic story, and even the other comic was lying. But it does make me think about now. Sturgis was in the news, which is where all those bikers go in North America, right? So it's kind of suspicious that all of a sudden Pikesville, 20,000 people show up.
And by the way,
it's
more
a
than one
hillbilly
person
festival. It's a real festival.
All right.
They had hog tie races, and they had the people that were there looked like the moonshiner on the can of a fucking vintage Mountain Dew can. Like, that's what those people are real, and they lived in fucking Pikesville, or they were there for the festival anyway.
By the way, Felicia, the least specific location for that. You go, Sturgis, it's over there in North America.
Because we have listeners all across the world, right? We have that one in New Zealand, Michael.
All right. Sorry. For the people in New Zealand, just take a left and head straight toward North America, and you should run right into the festival.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Jackie Fabulous. Jackie, let's hear your first story.
And the options are a true or a lie story?
Yeah, it's either you have to tell two stories. One is the truth, one is a lie.
Think of it more as requirements than options.
Yeah, but right now you're telling your first story.
One story that, I don't know if it's a regret. Oh, a story's a story. I did a stand-up comedy showcase type show for Will Smith. He was producing it. It was his thing in Vegas just this past November.
It's okay, Jack.
And I mean, that was just a few months ago. I'm sorry. And okay, here's the thing. My first thought when I got the booking was, I've known about him being open marriage forever. We all know that's not news for anybody.
Really?
So I was like, yeah. So I'm single. I was single then. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna see if my feminine willies work on this black man. It works on most black men. Why wouldn't it work on the richest black man, the most popular black man in the world? So
I'm sorry, Jackie.
What?
I just need to unpack this a little bit. You're about to do a fucking TV set.
Yes.
And you're like, I'm about to do a fucking TV set, but until my feet hit that stage with that microphone in my hand,
I'm gonna shoot my shot. I'll figure out a way to shoot my shot.
And she's not, the overwhelming thought isn't the career opportunity, it's being the Fresh Princess of Bel-Air. That's what she wants to know.
Well, I was going to do a set that I've done 1,000 times. So at some point, that's not the concern. You want to make sure you remember the set, your energy, the actual wordage. I wasn't worried about forgetting that. I was more like, I'm going to do a set that I've done 1,000,000 times. That will be fine. What I want to do is flirt with Will Smith. So how can I? And then when I got there, they were like, you're going to be mic'd all day, every day. So I'm like, shit, that's going to, of course they want to mic you because they know that some of us are going to go inappropriate and be really, really good fodder for the edit room. So when he made an entrance, of course, all caught on camera. And, I'm trying to downplay. I'm trying to do what most girls do when you want attention from a guy at a party or a bar. You just you get in his way, but you pretend you don't care.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Classic.
Make sure you look hot, things smell good, things are in place, your confidence is up here. You're not going to talk to him, but you're going to be in the way where he's going to be like, well, who's this in the way? So
an attractive obstacle.
Yeah, there you go. So he sat at the bar, cameras on him, and I'm like, I'm going to go over and say hi. And I did, but the camera guy didn't get there as fast as I did. So I got there quick, and I'm like, now's the time. Then I'm like, oh, shit, I forgot. I'm mic'd. I can't just say whatever I want to say. Or I can, and I get my ass beat by his wife later. I'm not sure. So I put my hand over the little lavalier mic, and when he first, okay, I'm sorry, I'm cutting too fast. He came to the bar. I went to the sit down. Nerves, nerves, nerves. But he knew who I was. He casted me, so it wasn't like we were complete strangers. So
but
when
he's
we
still
had
fucking Will fucking Smith. It's like, yeah.
Yes, but my surprise though, when I met him and talked to him, he came off as a real guy. He didn't come off as entourage, Jesus brought me here. He came across as just a dude, which made my nerves less. So I found a way in our where are you from, what made you do comedy, typical generic questions, to cover my mic and be like, what are you doing later? I mouthed that with my mouth. And
What?
I did.
Can you mouth that with your mouth right now?
Yeah, what does
Okay.
that look like?
I held my hand over my mic and I was like, I said,
You even pursed your lips at the end too?
oh yeah, because he was very close. I said,
Can you do it again, but real slow?
okay.
I'm almost there, Jackie.
And
this has got to be true. This has got to be true.
He pretended like he caught me but didn't understand me. But I'm like, dude, you ain't been out the game that long. I mean, you have, but you haven't. So he went like this, as if to say, like, we'll talk later. You know, that finger point.
Oh,
I was like, cool. So I went back to work.
Cool.
I went back to the whole, I do comedy because blah, blah, blah. He's like, great. But eventually I had to get up from that chair for the next comic to come in to sit down for him because he had to go through every comic there. And there were 16 of us. So throughout the time we were there, I think we were flirting with each other. Maybe not blatantly, but enough that I would bet at least $10 that he thought I was cute. Just a very minimal bet. Nothing ego-based.
Yeah,
just like,
you would not be able to talk to me for the rest of the day if that happened to me.
So he was very
you would
attentive.
not be able.
He was attentive to me, and when he was about to chit-chat with me, I think I wasn't mic'd anymore.
Yeah. That's called producing. Producing.
Yeah, exactly. I did.
Keep that crazy bitch at bay. Get her on stage. Shuttle off the set.
I did my set, and once again, I put back in the whole get in his way because he was the host of the show. So, and I went up, I don't know, in the middle. So when it was over, all the comics came out to where the comics were sitting down, and he came out. You know, he came out all adrenaline, like, a great show, guys. So I'm like, once again, let me stand in the way so that I could, number one, get my accolade because that set was good, and we all love that ego boost. Secondly, now that everyone is kind of preoccupied with the post-show euphoria, he'll be able to focus on me. So I was once again in his way. I could see him see him see me, and he came over to where I was sitting, and this other guy who is the same height as Will, who's also a comic, who I used to have like a fling with like 13 years ago. He came to the show because he lives in Vegas. And when Will came out to talk to me, he came out also and stood right next to Will, shoulder to shoulder. And Will did that look like, is this your man? And then he walked off, as if like he didn't want to cock block. And to this day, this comedian, when I see him, I'm like, you cock block. You fucking cock block, Will. Do you know that you cock block Will Smith? Because he was a large, imposing man like Will, and he came out to get me after the show, like, hey, my babe. And I'm like, in my head, like, why are you here? And I didn't give you a ticket. I didn't tell you where I was. I don't know why. He doesn't want it because he also wanted to know how to get on the show if it were to come back again next season, which we all do. You go hang around to see who's the producer in charge.
Sure, yeah.
So I don't know if
biggest cock block.
Yes, I don't know if I could have gotten anywhere with Will, but I know that if I did have a chance to at least discuss it some more, the cock block ruined the whole conversation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Many
so that's why I don't have, I don't have his contact, but I have his manager's email, and we're friendly. So whenever I want to talk to Will vicariously, I email his manager like, hey, Merry Christmas, and how's everybody doing? And if you want to send it to Will, I mean, I'm not going to get in your way. So, yeah, that's my story.
Well, I'm going to tell you that's a great story, and how I know it's a great story is because Jason Marino just said, That's a badge to wear. I cock blocked Will Smith. Have you? Strong story. You like that
strong.
I think the story's a lie, and she fucked him.
Yeah.
You know what?
J-Fab.
I appreciate your confidence in me.
All right. Well, any questions, Tamer? Anybody else? Any questions?
Well, I'm just a little disappointed. The amount of motivational videos I've watched with Will Smith telling me to never give up. I'm upset that he gave up so quickly.
I'm upset that Jackie gave up so quickly too, girl.
No,
What are you trying to act like?
Jackie,
I was
come
so
on.
caught by surprise by the guy after my set that I was literally I was in a daze. Because I was kind of like, this is it. I'm about to close this for later. We're going to make a plan. Because he knows what room I'm in. I'm at his job. We're on the same job. So I was so in shock by the guy who clearly had the balls to be like, hey, girl, and right next to Will's face. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? So...
Well, Michael Vargas just wrote on Facebook, I know Jackie flirted with Will. Thumbs up.
How dare you? I love Jesus.
Okay. Here's my question.
I believe this story because I know almost every comic I know, when we've had TV experiences, we've had one of our comedy friends get a little bit too excited and do
ruin a moment
on some spectrum of cock block, whether it's sexual or career related, where they get too excited and they overstep. So I believe this story. I feel the story.
Ooh.
Wow.
I think you want this story to be real because we're all still mad at those people for cock blocking those moments.
Well, I wasn't gonna say I feel the story after the goat fuck one, so I had to wait.
Well, here's my question. What did Will Smith do when you first met him where you were like, yeah, he's a normal guy? Like, what did he do that made you think that?
Because he's the most famous person I've ever met, I think. And usually when you meet someone who in your mind and on, statistically is like one of the top 5 most famous people in the world, your assumption is I probably should just, stay away from them. Because you don't know how someone on that level, you've heard the rumors and how they want to be talked to or not talked to or no eye contact. And I'm like, and no one gave me any intel. I didn't know whether or not he was a nice guy, an asshole, look him in the eye, don't look. I had nothing because there wasn't anything. Because when I sat down at the bar and he sat down to talk to me, he sat so close. And not because I was, I'm stunning, but because he really he likes the average normal interaction conversation. To the point where they had to stop us like, all right, guys, next. Every comic who sat there, they had to escort them out because he wanted to talk. So he just gave the impression of like, look, guys, I know you know who I am, but while we're here, we just want to have a good time. Yeah. He was very normal and approachable. Awesome. And that gave me confidence to be like, hey, I feel pretty confident.
It's kind of a word salad for not an answer, though. Really, it's kind
what did he do? He didn't do anything. What gave me my first initial relax and just talk to him is how close he got when he sat down. That was the signal.
It really gave me the confidence to go, well, I'm feeling confident.
Yeah, when he sat down and our shoulders touched, I'm like, oh, he's not.
When he sat down and I put my hand in his crotch and he didn't take it away, I just felt really comfortable all of a sudden.
And there was a scene that we shot where he was pretending to show me how to DJ, and he got all, and I was like, he wants to fuck. He does.
Jackie Pinkett.
I would have taken a swing.
Jackie sounded like a lot of those dudes that I've featured for on the road that afterwards they're all like, she totally wanted me, dude. She fucking totally wanted me, dude.
Totally wanted me. He had too many people around him. He had everybody that was there to protect him. So I'm like, I want to get hired again in life, so let me not be a complete fool.
All right. I love how you and Carmen both, like, when you get a little bit questioned, you guys have the gift of gab immediately.
Oh, yes. I've gotten every job I've applied for all off bullshit.
Okay.
I am in the line of bullshit. That's what we're selling. I don't know if you guys believe all the nonsense that comes out of y'all's mouth, but you better be lying some of the times.
Right. But you would be surprised how some people can't lie. You would be surprised. But we're moving it along. And we're going to go.
I'm a huge liar. Go on.
Okay. We're going to move back to Carmen's second story.
The second story is if you guys don't know, I lived on the road for like 6 years. Like that was my whole life. I didn't live in an apartment or anything like that. I lived out of a Saturn, and then I moved and upgraded to a Mazda. A very big move for me. And yeah, exactly. I love my Zoom Zoom. And I never like went on vacations or anything like that, just because everything that I was doing was just always like kind of a workcation. And then a buddy of mine, Ryan, was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to this voodoo music festival in New Orleans," and I was like, I don't have anything that week, so then I'll fucking go too, because it was like I was gonna finally have a fucking vacation. So I go to the voodoo music festival, and this is probably like 2010 maybe. So then that became like a thing that every year I would go to one music festival, and that was like my vacation. So I'm here, I'm in New Orleans. I'd never really been, and then I was there, happened to bring a bunch of mushrooms. And it was the year that Neil Young was there, Metallica was there, I think The Cure was there that year. There was like a lot of big. It was really rad. And so that was my contribution. He got the tickets, we got VIP, we got to go backstage and stuff. I saw TV on the radio from behind the stage. It was very cool. And then my contribution was like I brought all these mushrooms, because the dude that
nice.
That was what I was bringing to the table, because the chick that I used to live with, her boyfriend was best friends with a drug dealer, and he was about to get raided and got tipped. So he had this fucking huge jar of mushrooms. It was the biggest mason jar of mushrooms I'd ever seen in my life. I didn't know that mason jars got that big until I went to dispensaries, and then I was like, oh, there they are. But I'd never seen a jar of mushrooms this big in my life, and he sold it to me for $90. This huge ass. So that was the year where Mama became a fucking shaman. I introduced 10 different people to mushrooms that year.
Yes.
It was a very big. So this was one of those instances where, because these kids were like, they're nerds. They never fuck with drugs like this. So I was gonna guide everybody through this experience, and so
Oh my God.
second night into our 4-night excursion, we have like this fun little bonfire going on. Somebody's got a jambe, and we're all like, everybody's just starting to set in. Everybody's like, nobody's had too much. We're all just giggling. It's a great time. So then I was like, let me play the drum. I've always wanted to be a drummer. And I start talking about how I've always wanted to be a drummer. And then my parents got me a keyboard, and I'm doing all this shit, and I'm playing the fucking stupid drum. And then, I got up to go to get like beers. 'Cause that's the other thing, is on shrooms, a lot of times, like, we had also been smoking copious amounts of weed. I had dry mouth, whatever.
My Wi-Fi fell out.
Cocktail.
My Wi-Fi dropped when you said we were smoking copious amount of coke. I'm like, what?
We were smoking coke. I think people call it crack, but it was coke at the time. No, just copious amounts of marijuana. So it was. I just went up to get a drink, and I'd set the stupid drum down, and I tripped over the stupid drum, and I fell into the fucking fire. And but luckily, my aunt had been in a motorcycle accident when I was a kid, and
lucky.
taught me whenever I like fire or fire falling off of it.
Why was it lucky? Because you got a free motorcycle out of it?
No, because she taught me to fucking tighten and roll. Like, that was the whole thing. Like, if you're ever like, so instead of me full on just staying in the fire, I like pulled myself in and rolled out of it, so I didn't get fucking 3rd-degree burns all over my hands. Like, because I feel like my hands hit the fucking embers, but I fucking dodged to the left, and I didn't end up with fucking 3rd-degree burns. So it was, what was even funnier is the asshole whose drum it was like, oh, fuck my drum. Like, he was more concerned about the goddamn drum getting set on fire than he was about the person in the... You know, he was one of the friends of the friends. You ever go out on vacation with a bunch of people, and then you go with your group, and then they invite, like, 2 other couples, and then those people you don't really give a fuck about, but you have to hang out with the whole time? That was the guy. That guy.
Yeah.
So I was in a fire, but I didn't get burned up, which is, you know, so then they called me, what was the Marvel character? Inferno? Was it the one? They were calling me the Flame, whichever the one that had the fire hands, They were calling me that all weekend.
Well, I have a question up top here. Carmen,
what's the name of the character? I can't stop thinking about it.
All right, Carmen.
Yes.
Are you on mushrooms right now?
Flamo? Is it Flamo?
No, it's
I'm in
not
Spain.
Flamo.
I just had an O to everything. Is it Flamo?
Damn it, who is it? Human Torch. Human Torch.
Human Torch. Thank you. Oh my God.
I've never seen a superhero movie. I've never seen one once. I swear to God.
Really? Not even out of boredom?
Nah, man. I just don't like movies. I had like friends growing up and stuff to do. You know.
Yeah. Your name is Michael. Your name is Michael Evans. You're like the name of every superhero when he's a citizen.
Oh, really? Dude, one time I was playing a casino and it had I pulled up the casino, the big digital reader had the black dude from Good Times, Michael Evans from the show. And it had a picture like the black dude with the fro, and it's pulled. It's like Michael Evans tonight. I'm like, oh God, that's not me. I'm not that.
You've never seen a superhero movie. You don't watch. How old are you?
I'm 28. Yeah, I'm just not. I like TV shows and stuff.
Hey, stick to what I'm asking you. You're 28. That's fine. Oh, shit.
It's a lot of commitment. I got ADD. It's too long to sit down for sure.
It was because, and it wasn't even because they were like those kinds of nerds. It was just that was when the movie had came out. Like that was when that X-Men movie came out, and that was when it was like the really hot chick that played the Phoenix or whatever, and like it was it X-Men Origins? I think I'm mixing like several of them together. But it was the kid that fucking could make fire in his hands. That was what they would fucking call me all weekend. And and it was sure ha 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 very funny.
It all sounds true to me.
I did like when I asked her if she's on mushrooms, and she looked to the side like, "Am I on mushrooms?"
Yeah. like
did I take
them? Can you still see it?
Those weren't portobellos.
Well, I've smoked copious amounts of weed with Carmen, and we actually also fell into a campfire.
On Melrose.
On Melrose, yeah, just randomly.
It was actually a trash can fire. It was a little different.
Like, what happened to Sesame Street? It's really gone downhill.
Yeah. So, like, the most that happened is, like, some of my hair burnt, and it stunk really bad. But other than that, I was okay. Right.
Well, Kia says second story should be true just because I don't want the first one to be true.
Hilarious.
I feel you, dude.
It's funny how burnt hair was the smell I went to in my head. It's kind of like, it's like trucker dick. Even if you never smell burnt hair, you know when you're smelling it. You know what I mean?
You're like, oh, that's bad.
Yeah, that's trucker dick.
Smell.
Yeah.
It's interesting that your aunt is the one that taught you how to tuck and roll should disaster be upon you. I mean, my aunt taught me how to crochet and worship the Lord, but I mean, we all have different relatives.
Dude, if you want to know where a lot of this badassness comes from, like my aunt was a bouncer. Like, she threw dudes fucking across the room. Like, she taught me how to kill a dude if I was ever in a situation. Like, palm strike to the nose, jam that fucking right up the bridge your nose and your brain. I'll kill you. Like, I will if I need to, but I try not to use those tools.
My aunt taught me how to
try not to. I love that.
Nitrogen moisturizer.
What'd you say, Jackie? What did your aunt teach you?
My auntie taught me how to accessorize. That's
accessorize. My aunt did too. They were just brass knuckles.
You know what? You told two really great stories. I do have some questions. You said that the last story happened in around 2010, right?
Whenever X-Men Origins came out. That's the only thing too, is like those, like, my road years blur together, because it was like it was a lot of my bank account was in the trunk of my car in a lockbox. Like, there wasn't it was like a pandemic. I wasn't keeping track of anything.
Reclaiming my time. Okay, so no, but my other question is the story that happened with the goats was when was that in comparison to your second story? Was it before,
It was before.
after?
It was before.
How many years before?
At least a few, at least 3. Because like by the 3rd year, I was way more comfortable. Like I would have been way more assertive on stage, but like that was probably the 2nd year I'd ever gone out on the road, and like so it was just mad overwhelming to have. Like I didn't know how to that wasn't in fucking Judy Carter's book on stand-up comedy. You know what I'm saying? Like she told me to have a catchphrase, not how to deal with a goat fucking heckler. Like you know what I'm saying?
All right. Okay. Well, let's move on to Jackie's second story.
This one's not gonna be long because it happened quick.
No, it's all good. All good.
I did a comedy contest years ago when I first started called Who's Got Jokes, and Bill Bellamy was the host, and the musical guest for the finale was Bobby Brown, and he's on my list of no matter what he looks like, he could get it. I have all those teenage and young adult fangirl guys that I'm like, you know, he's 60, he has one leg, yeah, but I wanted to do him in 1992. So we were at the after party after the rap party, and we were drinking on the dance floor at the Luxor Hotel. That's where the show was shot, where the party was. And in the dark, somehow, I was near him. He was drinking, and he kept saying to me, he and I were alike because we had this gap in our true front teeth. Mm-hmm. And he kept saying, you and I have that in common. And I didn't know it was him. I didn't know it was him because you couldn't hear. I didn't know it was him saying that until I looked up, and I'm like, oh, but he's talking to me now. Usually, you know, the guest doesn't talk to the contestants. Long story short, on the walk to the bathroom in the hallway, there was some dark area.
So would that make him a normal guy? Because he talked to you?
No. Well, no one's normal. You know, I don't really believe in the term normal. I just mean famous. That's better than normal. You just said
Will Smith was normal.
Well, he was a normal man in one-on-one, even though he's bigger than life on paper.
Okay.
But this guy wasn't. He was big on life.
No, Bobby Brown is one of the members of New Edition. Anyone looking at this, probably 28 years doesn't know, but he's R&B.
Oh, I know Bobby Brown.
Yeah. No, yeah. So this will fit your reaction. I bumped into him in the hallway on the way coming from the bathroom, and we
on
found
purpose.
No, accidental.
Oh, were you being? Yeah, this wasn't like a pretty obstacle situation.
No, because I wasn't. I was, and also his significant other was there with him. So I'm like, I'm not gonna, you know, I don't make it a habit to throw myself at famous guys. So in the hallway on the walk back from the bathroom, he saw me. He said, "Come here." He pulled me into a little corner and he kissed me.
Wow.
That's it.
Well, it's his prerogative.
Yeah, that's exactly. The little steps I take led me to that.
He didn't beat you after that, did he?
No, didn't touch me at all. Didn't even follow up, which was interesting. I'm like, that kiss was kind of.
So was it just a peck on the mouth, or was it an open mouth peck, or was it?
It was a medium, short, long French kiss. That makes sense.
Medium, short, long.
Wow.
Right.
It's one of those kisses where you can visit the tongue, but you can't wander. You know, a quick and then you're done. That kind of thing.
Like a little, like that.
A little quick rap, and then you let go. You know, you ever seen those on TV? They're passionate, but they don't last long. But you know there was time.
It's like sign language for friendship, but it's in your mouth, like that.
Yeah.
Like, is that what that means?
Long enough to be like there was tongue.
Like a kiss if you'd been at the altar, like a quick but passionate.
Yeah, quick, passionate. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
A marriage kiss where it's gonna be some oomph in it, but not long enough to embarrass your whole family watching.
He did that in front of his girlfriend?
No. We were in the hallway coming back from the bathroom. It was a bathroom connection. And you know how sometimes you go to the bathroom.
How did it dismount? How did you guys separate?
Dismount.
Like, you know what I mean?
You know what? It was a very natural. I mean, it was unnatural, but it was a very you flirted with me. I was playing hard to get, but now that we are away from everyone, you know.
Wow.
But this was what was this? 2003, 2004. Oh yeah.
When you looked over your shoulder and asked that, I thought you were talking to someone else real quick.
No. I'm trying to I'm trying to abdicate myself of any responsibility from violating a married man's wedding vows by thinking about how long ago it was. It's still wrong. Doesn't matter how far back I go.
Hey, you're not the one who wrote "Humping Around." He wrote that song.
I like that song. That song in your car will make you break balls.
Yeah, it will. It will.
For the win with all these song references that nobody under 35 is gonna get.
I would have never pegged Tamer to be a big Bobby Brown fan.
I don't know. Big. I don't know if I'd say big, but
Yeah, to know who they are.
He knows 2 songs. All
right.
I know what's funny is that with my 2 stories about famous guys, I'm probably this close to being a groupie whore. Clearly, I have the characteristics to become one.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to use those words, but
you can't say groupie whore.
He's like, I didn't want to say it, but I can say it.
You can't say groupie whore. That's like saying convertible cabriolet.
Fuck, dude.
All right, you're on fire, Tamer. Yeah. I love it. By the way, Jason Marino says, is she running for office? She is so good on defense. You are really good when people are up in you, Jack. Yeah,
you gotta notice the subtle differences. See, I've noticed subtle differences in these stories. I giggle all the time, and Jackie doesn't giggle all the time. And Jackie giggles during. I'm not gonna blow up her spot, but I think I know which one is fake and which one is real.
No, we want this. This is what.
Yeah. Tell us why. Tell us why.
Her cheeks blushed when she told this story.
No,
so.
I'm wearing blush.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. I'm wearing blush.
Wow. It is such a weird thing that on this story she's like, I don't want to say anything about a married man or whatever. And then on the first story she's all like, I was going to get some of that Will Smith.
Yeah.
And I've never looked at him in a sexual way ever. I just look at him as a really good, he's a role model. And
come on, Jackie. I've looked at him in a sexual way. What are you talking
I've never. That's why when I met him, I was really surprised that all of my thinking of, wholesome Will Smith went out the window. Because he came in the room and he really is charismatically sexy. Where he comes in the room like, you're all here for me, but please let me hold you all. That's what it looks like.
I just also find it interesting that you were like, everybody knows it's open, and it was like, it wasn't always like that. 1 and 2, man, you really don't give a fuck about Jada Pinkett Smith at all.
No,
that's some straight up disrespectful shit. But Bobby Brown's bitch, you were like, fuck Bobby Brown's bitch, I will kiss him.
First of all, both of them
Jackie.
Wrong. And both were wrong. And I have heard, and that doesn't mean it's true. I'm still going on for rumors. But I have heard that their marriage has been open for a long, long time. It's kind of, but once again, I never had it verified by him. I'm never going to. But I've heard it. You know how you hear a rumor in Hollywood that's gone on so long, it must be true?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard about the Bruce Jenner thing. I'm sorry to say, but way
yeah, I've heard that it
goes
back years ago. It goes back and back, which makes you think, well, clearly this was on there.
And when I heard it, I was like I was so ignorant to everything. I was like, what? And then when it happened, it's like, well, so yeah, some stuff does come out. That's true.
And it's not just the open relationship. When you hear Jada talking about Tupac, she was in love with that man.
Yeah.
She talks about Tupac the way Madonna spoke about Sean Penn. That was her soulmate. So it wasn't just open technically, I think emotionally too. They weren't.
Yeah. I think they probably found a business thing that worked out, and they don't like to fail. Yeah. So they're like, we're just going to keep this going. There's no reason to get divorced. I don't hate you. You don't hate me. People who aren't married don't really know how someone's marriage, what they agree is cool.
Yeah.
And we're all on the outside, how could they? And they're very easily. We have a harmonious home, and we're how could when a relationship, as Tamer would know, being newly married, you do not know what goes on in those bed sheets when everyone is happy.
That's true. After
You're
3.5
making
weeks,
it.
I'm an expert now. I know.
You will
Yeah,
agree
pretty
to stuff
much.
to keep the union going. So you just never know.
All right. Well, we are going to move it along. Before we go to Michael's recap, we are going to say that Kia thinks that Carmen's giggles on her second story felt kind of forced. I can see that. He threw down the sword on that. So let's get your recap and start off with Carmen's stories first.
Carmen's first story takes place in Pikesville, Kentucky. She's in like a sea-level banner-hung room. It smells like skull and trucker dick, and she's working with this 6'4" black guy. He's a large dude, right? And this is at Hillbilly Fest, and it's like this is where a town goes from like 10,000 people to 55,000 people in like a fucking week, right? A lot of overalls, no shirts. Carmen's not doing well on stage. She's got like a half an hour to be up there. She's trying to do some jokes on top about like, she's like, yeah, here's my cat jokes, and they got nothing. She's like, what do you guys not have anything normal? You don't got dogs? And someone's like, we got goats. And like she busts his balls for a little bit, and this guy ends up admitting that he fucked a kid with 2 Ds. I think he fucked a goat.
No, what? No, he fucked a goat, not a kid.
Kid.
That's what goats are, baby
That's
goats
the
are
joke.
called
Oh
kids.
my God. Okay. Because I was like, I know you made that joke earlier, and then I was like, oh wait, no, he didn't really fuck a kid. That's not what I'm saying. Okay.
She was terrified by this reiteration of the story.
Well, I've never heard anybody tell my story back at me before. This is very bizarre.
She's like, you got one part so wrong. Okay, so this guy ends up admitting that he fucked a goat. The audience never bats an eye on it. And you're like, did you wear protection? And this guy's like, well, like I wore boots. And you kind of roboted through the last 20 minutes of the set. Got your way through there. And then later in South Carolina, Carmen's on stage again. And somehow this comes up. She kind of tells the story. And the guy's like, do you want to know why he was wearing boots? And she's kind of like, I want to know why he was wearing boots. But he explains the science of getting the hoof into the boot. It's all very important so you don't get purple toe and all that shit. And you met 2 goat fuckers. That's the point of the story. Understandable about the purple toe thing. I wouldn't want that if the goal were to have an orgasm. And
it's also so the goat can't get away because his foot's stuck in the boot too.
Yeah, the goat would, would
It's
want.
a category of porn, by the way. Stuck porn.
Stuck porn.
It's like quicksand porn.
But it's usually stepmoms with their hands in the
Garbage
sink.
disposal.
It's not goats with their feet in human
I'm trying
boots.
to get my ring, and then her, stepson comes up and fucks her from behind.
Yeah, or in the dryer, bent over to get the dryer. It's like, just back out of there. You can get out of the dryer. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's what he's hoping is that she does back out of there.
Nice. Carmen lived in a Saturn and a Mazda for 6 total years. Ryan's like, hey, you want to go to Voodoo Music Festival in New Orleans? And she's kind of been on the road for 6 years, doesn't take a lot of vacation or time away to do anything. She's always away. This is in 2010, and this also, by the way, became a thing. She decided to start going to a music festival every year, right? So at this particular one, it's got Neil Young, Metallica, The Cure, TV on the radio, a bunch of cool fucking bands, right? And she brought mushrooms. Her roommate's boyfriend's friend was going to get raided. He had a ton of mushrooms because he sold drugs. Gives her a whole jar for $90. So now she's a fucking shaman. She's giving people these new experiences. She got 7 or 8 people or 10 people to try mushrooms that weekend. And everyone's cruising one night. It's like night 2 of the 4 nights. Everyone's around a bonfire hanging out. Carmen's playing the drums, and she's like, my mouth is getting dry. I'm plenty high. So she got up to get a beer. She got up to go get beers, trips over the drum, falls into the fire. Luckily, her motorcycle aunt had taught her the old high-speed fall, tuck and roll.
Spinaroo.
Yeah, the spinaroo. And Uncle Spinny Dervish. That's it there.
All right. Wow. That's,
I don't know how to feel. Usually I know.
Yeah.
Usually I have a feeling right after I do the recaps, so that, like an instinct, and I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah. Jason Marino says that he thinks her aunt was there. Probably sounds like a party aunt.
Party aunt for sure.
She did take me to my bar for the first time when I was underage. She took me to a bar when I was 17.
You know, I love that Carmen shared her mushrooms with everyone. It makes her a fun girl.
Ah, get out of here.
Wow.
Is that inside mushroom jokes? Is that inside?
Instead of fun guy, fun gal.
All right. I'm going to say that second story is true, and the first story is a lie because, first of all, after 3 years, or you said you were in comedy 6 years when that happened, when you first told the story, right, Michael?
Yeah.
And
Wait.
so if
I didn't say it. No, I said I was on the road for like 4 6 years. I lived on the road. But I'm
No,
saying
no,
this
but
is like my second.
the first story with
That's what I'm talking about.
Pikesville. Oh, okay.
She was newer than that.
I was just saying that I lived on the road for 6 years, but this was like my
Right.
second year being on the road, like being on the road. Like,
And how many people were in that audience?
there was probably like 30, 35 people.
And when you say you were 2 years at that point on the road straight, right? How many weeks a year were you working?
Then it was that year. I don't think I went out full. I think I was gone like maybe 8 months. It wasn't the full year. It was probably like 7 or 8 months.
So you're
And then I
talking
would spend
about
the other
after
4
2 years, 16 to 18 months in 2 years on the road, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I kind of feel like how many people were in that at that Pikesville gig in the room? How many people?
That's what I'm
in
talking
the
about. There
crowd?
was like probably like 35 people there, but there was a fuck ton of people in Pikesville, but they were all going to the fucking hog tie races and shit like that. So then I just got the leftovers.
Right.
That's just a big draw, that hog tie race.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not. I don't get that. I don't believe that first story because I think after all that experience on stage in the worst rooms in the country, I'm sure you were playing at that point.
Well,
hardcore.
thank you, Felicia. I appreciate.
No.
But
When you start,
tell me how bad I was doing. I mean,
2 years in comedy and you're on the road 8 months straight for 2. You know what I mean? Like, no, that's what you're supposed to be doing.
2 years ago. Like I was probably 4 years into comedy, maybe 3 or 4 years into doing stand up. But this was the second year I was out on the road.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not a slam. You know that because that's amazing that you're getting that much road work that quick in. But I think if there's 35 people in the room and people are going ape shit like that, it's like, we're going to torch this fucking crowd. There's no like, automatic. It's like, let's torch this fucking set. Let's bring it on. No one ain't going to say shit. I'm never going to work this club again. Let's do it. Second story.
But it was though, because this was like one of the first runs I had done for that chain of clubs. So it was so I did have kind of like, I did still want to work for them. I didn't want to get fired. So it was like I had to fucking not get fired, because or else they were probably like 7 to 10 weeks of my year of work. All
right. Well, you didn't mention it was a chain of a chain, club that was part of a chain.
A C room chain, club chain that she didn't want to lose.
C room.
7 to 10 weeks of year.
Unless she meant this was sea level, like sea level, but I don't think you meant elevation. Sea level room, right on the water. Perfect. I love it.
Jason thinks you're getting a little defensive there. Jason Marino thinks that. And Chris Provenzano says, hey, Carms.
Hi. I went to high school with Chris. Thanks.
Here's what I think is this isn't, and then what? And then what?
I was just going to say, Keo Carbrasi says first is lie, second is true. He's with me.
The reason the second's true for me is because she went through and she named a perfectly obscure, very festival-esque lineup of bands. And then instead of naming all the bands at once, you could tell that it was like a real memory because she like 30 seconds later goes, oh, and we got to, we saw TV on the radio from behind the stage. It was super cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so she didn't throw them in the first grouping of bands, but she definitely remembered that part of the experience. It all felt very real.
You. I agree with you. I think the second story is true and the first story is not, because anytime a comic talks about going to Kentucky, the story begins with what drugs they were on.
Yeah.
Carmen did not mention any drugs in the goat story, and I know Carmen, and no drugs plus Carmen equals lie. At least when we hang out.
I smoked a lot after that gig.
But there was no mention of it, and I find that suspicious. It makes me think that
I said I was staying in a room with Skull and Trucker Dick. There's no way I wasn't getting high to sleep there.
Well, yeah, see, exactly. And I was missing the drugs.
Yeah.
She definitely did gigs like this because she knows just Skull and Trucker Dick. You don't just think of that. You know?
What is Skull, by the way?
Chew, like chewing tobacco.
Oh, Skull. I think you said Skull and Trucker Dick. Yeah. I'm like, what?
Oh, no.
Like Joe Dirt.
No, I wasn't Bidening these guys. I'm not just like, you've been on the road a while. I wasn't doing that.
I love how we are doing premium drug and music references, and Jackie Fabulous is building her website right now.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like, the bidding's almost over on this blouse, so.
No, I was reading prayer. I'm fine.
Yeah, a lot of goat fucking on this podcast. I better clean it up here.
But you have to give your vote, Jackie. What's your vote?
I think both are true.
Oh, there you go.
I was told I'm not allowed to do that because they get real mad if you tell two truths.
If one has to be a lie, Jackie, which one do you think it is?
Yeah.
Why does one have to be a lie?
Oh!
Those are the
That's
rules,
the rules
of the game.
You have to tell a true story and a false story.
The second one was a lie. First one was true.
Look how she's being contrary like that. I love it. I love it. Michael Vargas says first is a lie, second is true.
That was confident.
Kia says she's not defending it anymore. She has accepted defeat. But pretty much everyone.
I mean,
but Jackie,
I've defended all the points.
Yeah, that's true. Pretty much everyone says the first.
You want me to start crying? Like, what else do you want me to do?
Oh my God, that'd be so awesome.
It's true. The baby goat, the poor butt's butt. No. A lot of time has passed. I already went through that. I already went through the goat rape hotline that doesn't exist. I already went through all of that, okay? I already thought about those things.
Imagine you calling a rape hotline and they're like, ma'am?
Bad. This is bad. This is so bad.
Like, we can't help you, ma'am.
Yeah. He went grass to mouth.
I just see Jackie wake up from her prayers to give them. Okay, so Jackie is the only one that's saying that the first one is true. So, Carmen, which story is the lie?
The second one is the lie. That is not my story at all. And Jackie Fabulous is another good liar. So she knew that wasn't. She knew it wasn't true. That I didn't fall. I would have. You don't think you fall into fire and don't get any fucking marks? What are you, crazy?
We really had a lot of respect for that aunt that taught you how to handle that.
Yeah, I know. I gave myself credibility because I was lying. But no, that happened. My buddy Larry fell into a fire, and he's a drummer, and he has a huge fucking scar on his hand because that happened to him. And yeah,
I should have known. You don't raise.
And the goat thing is fucking real. The goat thing is real, and it was a story I submitted to This Is Not Happening, and they did not take it. So.
It really gives me anxiety about my ability to vet situations and people in real life.
I know.
I didn't recognize any of the signs there. I'm still not sure the goat thing happened.
I know. It hurts my feelings that Jackie Fabulous can build a website and know which one is the fucking lie at the same time. It really hurts my feelings.
Because she's been lying for a fucking long time. Bullshit knows bullshit. Game recognizes game.
Dude.
You ain't wrong.
I think I'm a really woman of character, and I'm really not.
All right, Jackie got to do last November a showcase for Will Smith. It's in Vegas, and everybody knows it's just one of those things. If it's going on in Hollywood long enough, it's got to be true that Will Smith is in an open marriage, and he is fuckable at this point, right? I mean, in theory, that's what she's hoping. But she's mic'd up all day, every day, and so she doesn't really know how she's going to do it. He makes an entrance at one point, and she knows rule number one, which is get in the way, but pretend like you don't fucking care. So she does that, and she kind of got to him at some point before the camera could follow them over, right? And she ends up putting her hand over her lav mic, puts her hand over the lav mic, and says, she goes, what are you doing later? She had a very no one could see what was going on. What are you doing later? This is pre-masks. Everything was detectable like the girl does. He played dumb a little, but she felt like Will kind of gave her like I get it, but I'm going to act like I don't get it for now. Blah, blah. They kind of flirted throughout the day is how Jackie felt. Actually, $10 says that Will thought Jackie was cute, says Jack. After the show, Will comes in and sees her at the after party or whatever, or wherever he's going to come into, right? And he gets cock-blocked by a guy that he assumed must have been her man. He put himself between the two. And in hindsight, that's a realistic way for that to go down, because I realized if I had been on the showcase or I'd be in the room, I would have been that. I'd be like, oh shit, he's here. How am I? I would not have been considering someone else's destiny of fucking the guy. I'd have been like, dude, this could be a huge night for me. Fucking the guy.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah. Okay. Second story is this. This is a comedy contest. It's called Who's Got Jokes, and Bill Bellamy is hosting it. And Bobby Brown is the musical guest. And Bobby Brown could get it. And they're at the Luxor on the dance floor. They're at the after party. They're drinking. And Bobby Brown.
I just love that you wrote down Bobby Brown could get it.
Underline.
Attention.
Yeah. They're at the Luxor drinking. They're on the dance floor. And Bobby Brown had kind of been pointing out all night, like, look, we both got the same thing going with the gap and the teeth and blah, blah. And so Jackie's on her walk from the bathroom in the hallway. Bobby Brown pulls her over and kisses her. Significant others there, but not in this very space with them. So they got away with it. And that was it.
I was just thinking about how old were you when Bobby Brown was famous, Jackie?
Ooh, 20s. When was he at his peak? In the early 90s? And I was in my 20s. I was in my early 20s in the 90s.
Yeah.
I know him purely as a reference in news music. Like you always, people say like Bobby Brown and Whitney, like you hear it in different rap. I listen to rap, so you hear his name reference, but I don't know anything about his music. I hear him in my music, just his name.
That's why everybody references him, because he's an icon that's been around forever.
And you got your mouth on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Ew.
Wow.
You lie. That second story is a lie,
Yeah.
goddammit.
I kind of feel
I believe
like...
the Will Smith shit. I believe the Will Smith, because she posts that picture of her and Will Smith like every 3 months. So I think the Will Smith is real.
I have several videos of Will being sassy with me.
To me, the stories kind of feel like the same story, but she just changed a few little things.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't think she would throw Will Smith under the bus like that.
Under the bus? This man's got all the buses. He don't need my help.
I know, but he doesn't need Jackie Fabulous out there saying he's all normal and she wants to get that.
If it went down in the future after that booking for that week, I would not tell a soul, because that is real.
What do you think, Tamer? What do you think? Jason Marino said.
I think the Will Smith story is. I think they both sound real, and there's a part of me that thinks like Jackie didn't know the rules and told two truths.
That was my second thought. That was my second thought. Was like when she was like, "Wait, why is one of them a lie?" I was like, "Oh shit, she kissed Bobby Brown."
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I'm like, yeah, and Bobby Brown. Listen, I love Bobby Brown. He's a talented dude, one of the best ever. But he's scandalous, and those both seem like the personalities of each dude. So I could see both of them being true. But if I had to pick one, if the rules were followed, I'd say Will Smith's story is true. More so because I know comic well than I know celebrities well. So I'd say that the first one was true, and Bobby Brown.
Interesting.
Well,
or they're both true.
I think even before we wondered if she knew the rules or not, I was gonna go with that the Bobby Brown story is true.
Ooh.
right.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, everyone online, Michael Vargas says first is true, second is lie. And please remember that Michael Vargas said she knows that Jackie flirted with Will Smith.
Oh yeah.
Right?
The whole week. Innocently.
But maybe that's not the lie. Maybe there's something within the story that is the lie. You know what I mean? That, like how far the flirting went. You know what I mean? Like there's business flirty when you're there is when you have chemistry with someone and you're kind of business flirty a little bit because you're just trying to be smooth on this.
You not that you're at work, so you don't want to get the signal, but you don't want to get fired.
Yeah. Yeah, it's HR flirting. That's what it is the human resources flirting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you put your elbow on a titty for a little too long. Oh, my apologies. Miss. My apologies.
You know how hard it is to have a conversation with someone when someone is always like, "Hey, Will. Hey, Will. Hey." It's impossible. So you got to throw it in. You got to be quick with it.
But the way I mean it though is like my ex-husband's in the business, right? But he's a flirty guy, but it's not sexual in a sense. It's like he's just flirt with men or women. He's just very friendly, very flirty in that way.
Oh yeah, outgoing, like me. I juice everybody up. Yeah. That's why
so
a lot of people think I like them that I don't like them. Yeah.
And so I could see Jackie doing
I love you. I
gotta go unsend a couple messages.
Well, Carmen, did you already say what you thought her little tics were when she lies? You said she had you could tell when she was lying and what those were.
I mean, the fact that how much that she talked about how she wouldn't disrespect Will Smith, but has no problem open mouth kissing in a public place with Bobby Brown.
I got kind of I got like more of a gutter opinion of Bobby. Bobby's more like, make out.
He is ratchet, and
yeah,
that's why he was a good name to pull out for that story. But I don't know that. And
he went for it. He's the one who went ratchet and was like, "Why don't we just?" He didn't say it, but his body language is like, "I can get it." That's ratchet behavior.
Yeah, he did like
he did like, "Let's go, come on." And I was kind of like, okay.
Wait, did you guys exchange any words?
He said to me, "We have the same gap."
Yeah.
And when a guy kicks it to you and he has nothing much to say but some abstract compliment.
Was he trying to nag you? Was that what it was?
No, that was his overly confident personality.
Yeah.
To drop a compliment with nothing in front of it, nothing behind it. And then
he was just like, we got the same gap. Let's put our mouths together.
He didn't say he just went I could tell that back in his day he was a slick dude. And slick guys like that don't say much to get ass. They just say the bare minimum because they know the woman's going to be like, yes, yeah! And that's the way he did it.
Did you do that?
That's how you behave.
Wait, time out. Jackie, did you do that? Did you scream into his mouth?
No.
Jackie's just screaming in his mouth.
Because he legit caught me by surprise. Mm-hmm. He legit, like the comment about the gap, I was used to a slick dude's, just, and you ignore it. But he took the slickness and then kept it going in the hallway when I was kind of like, oh shit. And then I'm like, he wants to talk? All right, well, let's talk. And the talk turned out, it was like less than a whole 5-minute exchange. The whole thing did not last long at all. It was really quick.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a vote. Tamer.
I think Will Smith's story is true.
I don't know. Her dancing now makes me think both of them are true. God
Bobby
damn it.
Brown, maybe not. But I still think they could both be true. And I think here's the other thing. For Carmen's theory about open mouth kiss, when you got two people with a gap between their teeth, they could have their mouths closed and still French kiss. So
wow,
yeah. Oh, that's intimate. That is too intimate.
I'm so glad you opened the door on that topic, Tamer, because I was like, when you guys kiss, were your teeth like fucking scissoring? Like, what's going on?
Oh my God.
You really gotta get into it to be touching teeth.
Yeah.
If he starts touching, your head smashing against one another.
That's very true. Very true. I'm gonna say, now I do feel a little worried because Michael Vargas said the thing about you did flirt, but
she flirted and nothing happened, and then then Bobby Brown said she got a nice gap, and then they made out in 5 minutes. Like,
yeah.
So what happened the rest of the night?
I flirted and couldn't get a chance to see if anything could happen. Because
you got to say mouth gap, by the way. You can't just say he said you got a nice gap.
That's right. So we got the same gap. It's like you knew he wasn't talking about that.
No, he pointed. He pointed at his teeth when he did it. So I was like, oh, okay.
The point is critical in this story.
Okay. The first is the lie, and the second is true, Michael.
Yeah, I'm going that she never even seen Bobby Brown in real life, and that the Will Smith thing she did try and nothing happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Jackie Fabulous. Now is your moment. Which one is the lie?
The Will Smith story is true, except for the lavalier mic. What are you doing later? Everything else is true in the Will Smith.
Wait, so what is that? Was that your true story or your false story?
Well, the story's true, except I did not open my mic and say, what are you doing later?
Oh, fuck.
Well, I can tell a story about a basketball game and be like, but I didn't hit the game winner. That part was false.
Well, okay. So then is the Bobby Brown story true?
Oh, Bobby Brown story is a complete lie.
Okay.
All right, we're cool.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
I'm sorry. He did say to me on the dance floor at the show rap party, we have the same gap. That's all he did. Nothing else happened.
Good guy, Bobby Brown.
I just want to say,
You're a good person,
That's the first
Bobby.
time anybody's ever said that sentence.
Yeah, you might want to look him up before you say anything else about him.
Yeah, that's my generation Danny Brown's dad, right? Isn't it?
I did flirt hard, and I just didn't know how to flirt one level more so that he could actually see me say to him, "What's up?" You know?
Yeah.
That's all you can say. All you can say is that, "You wanna?" And then what else?
Yeah. It's just putting it out there. That
Yeah,
guy's
there's
gonna make
no
that
words
decision.
that I need to utter. He's a smart guy. All I had to do was be like,
those are two great stories, and I have to say that I am incredibly relieved that they weren't both true, or because Jason Marino would have lost his shit on you, Jackie Fabulous.
I'm not gonna throw my career away and try to fuck Will Smith in public.
Yo,
Right?
the listeners are funny how offended they get. Like, they hit us up privately after his show goes down. We're like, somebody told two truths. It's like, yo, this is pretty fucked up, right? They told two truths. Like, they want us to go after you guys now. Like, ruin your career.
They want justice.
Yeah.
It's like, it's relax. It's a podcast.
Yeah. What are we gonna do about this?
Most of us are high and didn't remember the rules, obviously. So come on.
Hilarious.
You
Go
almost
easy
got
on us.
canceled, Jackie Fabulous.
But if you're listening and it's that important to you, thank you for caring that much. We're so fucking glad you listen.
Dude,
No,
my
we,
favorite thing was hearing Jason Marino's voice. Like when Jason
I did
goes,
hear
Oh, God. No, I
"You
heard
hear
him.
this?
Yeah.
Oh fuck."
Yeah. It's this kind of night, man. It's gonna fuck my
I
week
heard
up.
that. I was like, what's that, Jesus?
Oh, Jason just wrote "lie to me the right way." That's all I have.
Hey.
Like
We are
I
here
did.
for you, Jason. Yes, just like Carmen did. You guys have been absolutely wonderful guests. Thank you so much.
Thanks for
Thank you,
having us.
Tamer, for coming on and being a
Thanks
guest
for
host.
having me. It was fun.
Let's
You guys
do
are
the.
great.
It was so much fun. Carmen, where can people follow you? What would you like people to be directed to?
CarmenMorales.com for all of your Carmen Morales needs. I run a really fun online show. If you like comedy, I'm producing it and it's actually done well. So follow me at The Funny Carmen. I post about it all the time. It's called Social D. I also have a podcast called No Sir, I Don't Like It. No Sir Pod for short. Where I have comics on and they talk about shit they don't like. It's super fun, silly. And that's it.
Michael Varga just said another fabulous show. Love you all. He's such a great comedy fan. Jackie
I love
Fabulous,
Michael.
where can people follow you or find you, or what would you like to direct people to?
Please go to my website, JackieFabulous.com. That will connect you to all of my social media handles and my podcast, which is called Relatable with Jackie Fabulous. If you go to my YouTube channel, please subscribe, watch all the episodes. I have about 13, 14 episodes. Next one's being uploaded tomorrow. And I have a comedy album out. You can purchase it wherever you buy your comedy or any album. It's called Fabulously Naughty. And I have...
Well, Jim Jeffries came out just there.
You did? Oh. And I will be back on the road, you know, the way that we can. It's on my website. So if you want to come see me live in the city near you, go to my website. Other than that, thank you so much, Felicia. I had a wonderful time.
Well, we certainly appreciate you sharing some of your pandemic with us. Tamer, where can people follow you? Where can people find out about you? What would you like people to be directed to?
My Instagram is at TamerKat with a K, TamerKat. And then my website, tamerkatan.com, is for all upcoming shows. And I just signed on to do a second album with Uproar. I'm really excited about that. So working on the new material.
That's
now.
our label. 3 of us are on that
they're
label.
great. They're such sweethearts. So, and it was so good to see all your faces. I really miss you guys. I've been in Barcelona for a little bit, and I'll be coming back to America soon to hopefully when this pandemic gets under control.
Okay.
I love you guys.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much
having
for
me.
stepping
You
in and guest
too.
hosting. And Michael, what about you? Hold on one second. Michael, what about you?
Oh, this is mostly what I got going on. But if you follow my Instagram at Michael Evans LOL, you'll see that I'm a guy that certainly deserves to have more going on. So Do that. And Tamer, I've known you too long to be saying your last name wrong still, but you better believe next time I see you, I'm saying it wrong, buddy. I got
it. That's all right, man.
Again, thank you guys once again. You can follow me all across the board at Felicia Michaels. If you have a comedy guest that you would like to be on our podcast, please follow us on Twitter, Felicia Michaels, Jessica Wellington, Michael Evans Kafalas, and just shout it out what guests you would like to have on here. We appreciate our viewership and our listenership for everyone all around the world. Thank you so very much. We appreciate our hardcore fans. Thank you, Jason Marinas. Thank you, Kia Carbasi. Thank you, Michael Vargas, and for everybody that joined us tonight live on Facebook. Thank you so much. You can go on our YouTube page, and we have tons of content. We have over 130 episodes now. We have animations. We have everything you can possibly imagine, live stream shows with some of the best comedies in the business. Thank you very much, everybody. Good night. And you have been lied to.
Bye, guys. Love you guys.
You got lied to, bitch.
I'm not telling that one.
Well, the real liar, please stand up. Right?
She's totally serious.
And you have been lied to.